Hey sweet friends, this is Gina. Welcome to the TheReBookery channel. I wanted to pop in really quickly and show you guys my finished journals. I know when I showed them to you the other day, I had not sewn the signatures in yet, and I kind of felt like I was cheating you a little bit because I didn't let you guys see the finished product. So I got it done, and I'm just gonna make this a really short video just to show you the binding, and I want to pull a couple of little parts out that I did that I thought were kind of cute. If you want the full flip through, I will link the original video down in the bottom in the description. So these are going to be the 5 journals that I'm going to have in my shop tomorrow, Sunday, February 10th at 3 p.m. Central Time, and let me show you what they look like now that they are bound. So this one is that skinny one that I told you about. It was a cookbook, and let me make sure I'm in frame here. It was a cookbook, and I gutted it, gave it a new spine, used a hanky, and then I bound it with some pale yellow wax linen thread, and it turned out so awesome. I love this one, and it's so, now here's when I don't, like, this is what it wants to do when it's by itself, but if I add pressure to it, this is what it looks like when it's closed up, and it lays like that. And when you open it up, again, with this size, the skinnier ones, they do have a little bit of trouble laying totally flat, but nothing you couldn't just put a clip over to the side if you were working on this page and it would hold it down. This is going to be similar to working in like a traveler's notebook size journal. So anyway, I love this one. I love how this one just feels in my hands. This is a cute one. I'd like to do something like this again. This is the My Teddy Bear Little Golden Book, and I added so much stuff to this. I couldn't stop. I had bits of that sweater. Let me show you what I have left. So this is all I have left of that little kid's sweater, that little baby sweater, and I just kept adding more and more stuff to this journal because it just seemed like it needed it. It needed to be kind of patchworked. So this is what I ended up with. I've got sweater on the corners, and then I've got sweater with button and some fabric. I've stitched around, added this little vintage sheet tie, and then I bound it. Whoops, I got extra threads here. I bound it in some blues to kind of match the cover here. So there's 2 different colors of blue with some wax linen. And then on the back, I added, this is another part of the sweater that has the buttons, and then I stitched this part down so it doesn't flap open, and I added, oh, I added this right here. So I just put some holes here on the edge, and then I just took a piece of vintage sheet and I just kind of wound it around kind of randomly, and I thought that was kind of cute too. So anyway, I could not stop on this one. This one just, yeah, it just kept going. And make sure I'm in frame here. It just kept going. I couldn't stop. This one is, oh, it's so scrumptious to hold, and just, yeah, yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so then my fabric journal, and I am in love with this. I am so obsessed with fabric journals right now. I can't quit them. So this was just a mishmash of some random fabrics that I had around, and then vintage sheet tie. These were just some scraps. And then this right here, so this is the spine, and I love how it's kind of just very offset, not perfect. I just, to me, that's a true journal. I don't know if I've ever told you the story of this sweater, but this sweater is near and dear to my heart. So this was a sweater that I bought and actually wore for several years, and then unfortunately it got felted on accident, and so then I just turned it into some scrap supplies. So when we moved up here in 2007, we'd lived in our hometown for, I had lived there for 35 years, and then we moved up to Kansas City. We had gotten new jobs and moved our whole family, and had 2 teenagers and a 1st grader. And it was really traumatic, and our house didn't sell because it was in 2007, so it was just not a good time. My middle son had just been diagnosed with some medical issues that we didn't realize at the time, but were going to be very ongoing. And so anyway, We were just in a really icky place because we had house payment in our old house that we loved, and then we were living up here and we were renting, and I don't know, it was just kind of a weird time. And so one day my husband and I were feeling pretty blue because it had been like 9 months and our house still hadn't sold, and we went into a thrift store. It was probably one of our first times going into a thrift store. And I found this sweater, and I had never bought clothing at a thrift store before, but I found this sweater and I loved it, and it had never been worn. And so I bought it for the price of $3, and I wore that sweater. It was my favorite. It was like a name brand sweater. It was like something I would never buy because it was probably really expensive. And I wore it and I loved it, and it just always reminded me of that time when, you know, I found it at the thrift store. And then one day, about 3 years later, I accidentally washed it, and yeah, it shrunk. So then I just went ahead and turned it into felt, and so now I just use pieces of it throughout my crafting. But it always reminds me, I swear, I feel like I'm right back there at the thrift store. Last two journals, these are like the Homebodies collection, because they're kind of a craft theme, but not too themey. Like, you can still add your own stuff to it. So these are the they're the same. Oh my gosh, got strings everywhere. This is some really cool upholstery fabric that I found, and I've been dying to use it. And then this was a linen napkin or hanky or doily. And so again, these guys are just chocked full of all kinds of random papers. But something I wanted to show you in here, let me see if I can find it. It should be in the middle. There we go. In both of the journals, I added a page protector, and this is one of those coin page protectors, so it has the little squares, and in the little squares I added little bits of sewing. So like, here's buttons, here's some thread, here's some fabric, here's a pack of needles, and then there's ones that are open, so you can add whatever you want to. You can add supplies, or you can add little photos or little remnants of pictures or papers. Anyway, I just thought that's so cool, and I put little washi tape here to keep these guys in. And so I thought this was kind of cool because it could be decorative, or it could be totally utilitarian, and you use it to hold your supplies. So here's the other one. And yeah, I just think that's so cute. And then I just put some squares from a, actually from this book. I just punched out some squares and put them in the center, because you wouldn't be able to use those anyway, because that's where I bound it. But yeah, so anyway, I thought that was kind of cute. Okay guys, so here are the 5 journals, finished and bound and ready to go to their new forever homes. And I hope you enjoyed this quick little flip through, and I hope you got some more details on what they look like in the insides. I'll have all the stuff like pages and things and measurements. I'll have all of that posted in the Etsy listing. I hope you guys are healthy. I hope you guys are happy. I hope you do something creative today, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.